and even throughout this press conference, any of our residents experiencing or special medical needs should call 311 to register for our special needs registry. This will allow us to, one, triage, put you in touch with our medical providers as it relates to our center that we have staged and serving residents right now. But that is the place where you should call 311 to fully register if you are and have medical special needs in the city of New Orleans, which is our top priority at this time. On today, and actually right now, we're standing up 7 meal distribution sites in partnership with World Central Kitchens across the city in key neighborhoods. I'm going to give you that information. 1 p.m. Arthur Mundy Center. 1 p.m. St. Roch Park. At 1:30 p.m. Harmony Oaks. 1:30 p.m. New Philippians Church in the Lower Ninth Ward. 1:30 p.m. St. Maria Goretti in New Orleans East. At 3 p.m. the Rosenwald Center. 4 p.m. Life Transformation Community Center in the Holly Grove Dixon neighborhood. As I said, these distribution sites, the 7, will be deployed on today. This is going to be today only, and we will continue to be flexible and move around the city as days go by. However, we will be staging and setting up permanent sites as well. So we're opening up a cooling center that will include AC, meals, again, water, and charging devices. One of the centers today will be Rosenwald Recreation Center. As mentioned, at 3 p.m., the World Central Kitchen will be staging distribution for food and meals at 3 p.m. That's at Rosenwald. On tomorrow, we will have 7 additional rec centers online to provide the same services that I mentioned. And those were AC, meals, charging stations, and the like. They will be the Tremé Rec Center, Cutoff in Algiers, Gernon Brown Rec Center, Milne, Stallings, St. Claude, the Lion Center, Joe Brown, and again Rosenwald, which will be activated today and actually at this time at noon. Also beginning tomorrow, we will be opening drive-through points of distribution. The acronym is PODS, utilized by the Louisiana National Guard. We have Colonel Bailey, who's been boots on the ground with us and embedded in the EOC since the very start of this, and they will be, again, erecting pods in key areas on tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m., Joe Brown Rec Center and Mahalia Jackson parking lot. On Thursday, an additional 3 will come online. That will be the UNO Lakefront Arena, the Lion Center, and Skelly Playground. Now, you heard me mention Rosenwald as well. The RTA will be utilizing an upward of 70 buses that will be activated on today for mobile cooling centers for our residents. This is a great use of our assets, particularly buses that could be used as cooling centers and deployed again strategically throughout the city of New Orleans. So, for example, where we're activating the food or the feeding on today, we will also centrally locate buses to cool people as well. So just trying to be as flexible, also leveraging resources so that people can have as much resources where they are as possible. And we will remain flexible and pivot again as needed. Nola Reddy will be sharing the locations, the full complement of where the cooling stations will be deployed. You will receive that information from Nola Reddy. Again, if you have medical special needs in Orleans Parish, make sure you're signed up for and with our special needs registry, and you do that by calling 311. It's the most efficient way so that we can capture that data and we have real people, our people, who are calling our residents directly and responding to their needs, again, directly and specifically to their needs. So these resources are being deployed, again, to meet people where they are and to ensure, again, that we can do the best that we can to leverage and to get these resources where we know people are. So again, food, some ability to cool down, as well as charge critical communication devices, which we know are just essential at this point. Again, very grateful for the Louisiana National Guard, again, and the World Central Kitchen, who's been a great partner, again, with the city of New Orleans. We're going to be taking this step by step, one day at a time, and every day, more resources in terms of deployment. We should see some progress, but at the same time, we recognize as the days go by, we understand people get a little angst. You know, we know it's hot, we know that we do not have any power, and that continues to be a priority that this administration is pushing forward on with energy. More information will come to you following me through this press conference and of course throughout the day. Very grateful to the residents of the city of New Orleans as I move about. I see our folks doing what they do organically, coming together, cleaning up their neighborhoods, servicing their neighbors, trying to meet those needs. And so I will step back at this time and allow Colin Arnold, who is our Director of Homeland Security, to come up. Of course, we'll move through various speakers of very important information that we would like to share. I'll come back and, of course, go right into questions and answers. So, Colin.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. The mayor pretty much covered it. That's what we're working on right now, is certainly our residents and getting those community-based resources where they're needed, close by in the neighborhoods. Realize this is dynamic, so as we're getting the generators, as we're getting the commodity, the partnership with the National Guard is, as usual, built over years and is incredible. We've determined these sites as these materials and commodities come in, again, at the point of distribution sites, the pods as we call them, and that again, it's starting tomorrow, is Joe Brown Park and Municipal Auditorium, Mahalia Jackson Complex there. That's gonna be MREs, water and ice. Okay, we also have tarps coming in. The tarps are being delivered directly to the city. We'll be working with the city council and others to distribute those by council district to the people who truly need them, that are experiencing roof damage. There's more to come on that. We have not received them yet. They're en route. But as these commodities come in, we're going to push them out with our partners as soon as possible. Clearly, this is our absolute goal. What we're also doing on the internal side is addressing the generator issues as far as fuel for vehicles, fuel for generators, for critical infrastructure, getting that, making sure that is running smoothly. Again, that's been both our city vendors that we utilize for fuel, and also a credit to the National Guard with big green tankers coming in that have helped us out. We still are maintaining the plan in the event that there would need to be an evacuation, but you've seen we turned a corner on that, we believe, and that this neighborhood assistance is going to be where we're going. But as in emergency management, we have to look at every contingency, so those will be on the table, again, working with our National Guard partners as well. And really, I think that's about all I have right now. And we want to go to...
I'm going to go to Ramsey.
We're going to go to Ramsey Green to talk about infrastructure. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you so much for being here. At the moment, as we look at these cooling centers and these pod stations, that's going to require people to potentially get in their cars, walk, We're really aware of clearing those roads, ensuring that people can navigate their way there, installing temporary stop signs, given that the ability to get there is down. We cleared 6 major arterials throughout the city yesterday. We've got a number of them left. We have small streets we're eventually going to get to. We initiated debris clearance, really focused on those cooling centers and pods today. And then additionally, we happy to take questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ramsey, and we'll keep it going and continue to give briefs, and as things come to our mind, we'll share as we go. So one of the things that I really wanted to make clear to the public is relative to the resources that are being made available through FEMA. I've seen some text messages and just some misinformation as it relates to Orleans Parish. And so I've asked the official that has been planted and embedded in our EOC to join us this afternoon again so that you hear it directly from FEMA. And also you have a better understanding and an accurate understanding of what the administration is providing and or not providing, or what has been requested and yet has not yet been fulfilled. So I just wanted to give our folks the best and most accurate information at this time relative to FEMA. So with that, Jerry, you'll come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to say that on behalf of all the federal responders that are working here in Southeast Louisiana, that our thoughts and prayers are with everyone who has been impacted by this catastrophic event. We know this is a very difficult and challenging time, but we also know that the residents of Louisiana are very resilient because you've been through this before. So this is going to be a long recovery, but we're going to get through it together, and FEMA is going to be here every step of the way. To that point, I want to make it very clear that the response is being locally executed, state supported, and federally supported with assets. The state is clearly in the lead. The local governments are leading the plans at the local level. The federal government is here to provide whatever support is needed. To that point, we have resources already deployed that are assisting with search and rescue. We are providing generators to critical facilities, and we are providing commodities such as food, water, and tarps that you will see at the points of distribution in the coming days. We stand ready. Again, we will be here every step of the way. And now I want to just talk a little bit about what's going on with the Individual Assistance Program. As of this morning, I can report that over 113,000 households have applied for federal assistance. The vast majority of those are from Orleans Parish. Now, residents can apply, households can apply for federal assistance in a number of ways. The most common way is 1-800-621-3362. That number again is 1-800-621-3362. Households may also apply online at www.disasterassistance.gov. And there is a FEMA app that residents can download onto their iPhones, and they can use that app to also apply for federal assistance. So as you can tell by the number, we're very pleased right now with the way the residents have been able to register for assistance. Most of those registrations have occurred using the mobile app, as a matter of fact, and online. And we will continue to encourage residents to do this for the next several days and weeks. Now, what will happen after a household registers is they will be contacted by a inspector, a FEMA inspector, to come and do an inspection of their damaged home. We're in the process right now of getting inspectors deployed here into Southeast Louisiana. As you know, there's a lot of damage out there. Access is somewhat limited. So it's going to take us some time to get the capacity that we need, the number of people that we need in the local areas to do these inspections. So again, we ask for the patience of those who have registered and you are waiting for an inspection. That will come. I do want to provide a couple of reminders, though, to everyone who has registered. First of all, if you are currently in some type of temporary lodging, keep all of your receipts. You may be eligible for reimbursement for that lodging expense from the federal government. It will depend on your application and your total living situation. Insurance. I want to remind everyone that FEMA assistance is not a substitute for personal or homeowners insurance. FEMA assistance is not designed to make a household whole. Okay, it's merely designed to just get a household back up on their feet to begin the recovery. But if you have insurance, we strongly encourage you now to reach out to your insurance adjusters and to begin the process of submitting that claim. With regards to cleanup, do not wait for a FEMA inspector to come to your home to begin cleanup. You can start that process now, but it is very important that you document the existing damage by either photographs or video, and save any receipts that you are accumulating right now for any cleaning resources or other materials that you're using at your damaged dwelling. Those expenses may be eligible for reimbursement under FEMA's program once we review your application. And with that, Mayor, I'll turn it back over your tab. I'll take any questions later on. I'm sorry?
Could you identify yourself
Yeah.
and your title, please?
First name is Jerry, Gerry. Last name Stolar, Stolar. Okay.
Jerry, what's your title?
Yeah, I'm the, my title is a liaison to the mayor of the city of New Orleans. Okay.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, thank you very much, Jerry. And based on some of the calls that we have been receiving directly to 311, have been relative to pets. And so I found it very fitting at this time to ask our representative and our director, Ms. Anna Zarilla, with the Louisiana SPCA, to join us to give you brief information relative to our pets.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Anna Zarilla. I'm the CEO at the Louisiana SPCA. We've been hearing about the heat and the impact that has on people. It does impact pets as well, and we've been very concerned about the heat impacting companion animals, cats and dogs, that are in people's homes right now. We've been getting calls about animals in heat distress and even heat stroke. So our first message is that it's important that people take measures to prevent heat distress for your pets. So make sure that you are not exercising them during the middle of the day when it's the hottest. Make sure they have plenty of water. You're cooling them down. If you have kiddie pools or any other ways for your pets when they go outside to cool off, use those to try to prevent any kind of heat distress. In conjunction with the city's cooling centers for people, we will be setting up co-located cooling centers for pets. The first one will be today at Rosenwald Center. The remainder will be at those other centers that are starting tomorrow. And so those will be available for people to come with your pet, and you will be able to make sure that your pet is cooled during that peak heat time during the day. And again, we're trying to make sure that animals do not go into heat distress or heat stroke. We have been getting calls about injured animals. We want to make sure that Those are being reported to 911. If you have any kind of serious animal emergency, an injured animal, animal hit by a car, please call that into 911. They are dispatching our officers. Our officers are in the field and responding to emergencies. If it's a non-emergency call, please direct those to 311 so that we're not clogging up the 911 system. For anyone that has left the city, however, could not take their pets with them, we've started getting those calls as well. Those can be directed to 504-368-5191. You can also email info, I-N-F-O, at louisianaspca.org, info@laspca.org. Get those calls into us, and that way we can start to dispatch our team to check on those animals, make sure that they are safe, make sure they have food and water. If you see an abandoned animal, please do not remove it from the location. Please call that information into us. We want to make sure we have the address. We want to make sure we know where that animal came from so that we can get in touch with the owner and make sure we can reunite the owner with the animals. We, at the moment, are not open to the public. We are hoping to reopen later this week, and specifically around lost and found pets. So if you have lost your pet, please call so that we can get those reports in. We can identify if we've picked up any animals that could be your pet if it got lost. If you have found a pet, please also call that information in. We're going to work hard to reunite people and pets. And again, we're hoping to be able to reopen the facility later this week, at least in a limited way, so that pets and people can be reunited. And I'll be available for questions if anyone has any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just a couple of other things that I would like to touch on prior to going into Q&A. I neglected to mention, and I do know that it was previously reported on, but I wanted to touch on it, relative to the data center here at the city of New Orleans. We did have a transfer start to spark and burn. That was embedded on our third floor, in which the fire department responded immediately, made sure that that spark, that fire, was definitely subsided. So we have moved on from there, and we have, and in the process of transferring our equipment, which is about 40 pounds, just to put it into perspective, using in terms of technology, that's now going to our data center in Baton Rouge. These investments were really a part of the post-cyber attack response that the city, we had a cyber attack in December of 2019. And so coming out of that cyber attack, we really began to invest heavily in our technological infrastructure. So in doing so, and as planned, should we lose anything here, meaning in terms of our power sources, which that transfer was a part of that, we were able to transition to our second data center, which is in Baton Rouge. Once our team makes it there, and they're on their way right now, and they are going by escort at my request. Once they get there, it could take about an hour or so for our data system to therefore come back online. So what that means is like our entire systems, our computers, our internet access and the like are all powered by our data center. So from Baton Rouge, once they get there, it will restore our assets here. And so again, that's just why we made that investment. I'm glad we did, and we're executing the plan that we had in place just for these purposes. But we still have the use of our NOLA Ready system in terms of how we communicate with NOLA Ready. Our residents love that. Seems to be really the most effective way, as we've heard from them. Also, we will be able to utilize our social media platforms as well. But in terms of phones, in terms of our access to internet service, computers, and the data that we would need, we don't have it at this time, but we're not totally handicapped because, again, we've prepared for times such as this. I also wanted to just speak on the unified command that's associated with our anti-looting plan that has been fully executed throughout the city of New Orleans, in addition to sheriff deputies that have stepped in to assist the New Orleans Police Department to ensure, again, that we have the necessary coverage and visibility throughout the city. Of course, embedded in that anti-looting plan, at the core of it is our Louisiana National Guardsmen. We have an additional deployment coming to the city on today as well, just again to ensure we have that adequate and coverage and consistency throughout the city. It's not, oh, we're on fire and we need you to come on in. No, that's not how it worked. That's not how it's working. We're being proactive in our approach, and we're receiving additional support from the Louisiana National Guard. So I'm going to wrap that up, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Allison, and you can move us through Q&A.
Sabrina Wilson, Fox 8.
Yes, ma'am. So we are not getting those calls as it relates to people who want to get it. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist, but I'm saying an overwhelming number in regards to wanting to evacuate. As it relates to the city of New Orleans and executing a post-storm evacuation, we have pivoted to remaining and sheltering in place and providing the necessary resources and deployment throughout neighborhoods. However, our focus there as it relates to evacuation will remain on our medical special needs residents, and that's why we're contacting them. We did on the pre, but we're also taking those same measures post-storm, calling them directly, hearing from them directly, so that we can then align their needs and our response, I would say, to their needs. The state of Louisiana has identified shelters for those who do want to evacuate the city even on their own, and that is the most closest, I'm told, is Alexandria. So in terms of that, it would be going to a shelter. That would be the same effort as it relates to our surrounding parishes. It will be it's not to hotels, it's not any of that. It is simply going to our shelters identified by the state of Louisiana. And when people are informed about that, from my perspective, they say, hey, I would rather just shelter in place. But again, we'll assess day by day, and as situations change, we'll have to pivot. But we're day 2 right now. Our focus will continue to be on our residents who are living with medical special needs, and we will continue those outreach efforts, again, to assess them specifically and provide those resources accordingly. Yes, ma'am.
Paul Rivera with Channel 6.
Mayor, can you expand a little more, give any new information on the power restoration timeline?
Sure. So what I do know is that the thorough assessments of Entergy on the power transmission side is well underway. And I'm going to ask Ramsey Green, my Deputy CEO of Infrastructure, to give you more of a comprehensive overview based on what we know and our most latest briefing this morning. Ramsey?
Thank you for the question. So with regard to power in the city of New Orleans, there's a couple things to remember. There's transmission, which is 8 lines coming into the city of New Orleans. There's distribution, which is the grid within the city of New Orleans. And then there's generation, which would come from NOPS, the New Orleans East plant, or what's called 9 Mile 6, which is another plant. At the briefing that we've received from Entergy, we have a variety of ways to bring power back to the city of New Orleans. This is not a Lake Charles post-Laura environment. You have these different transmission lines. You don't need all of them, all 8. You need some of them. And the direction that Entergy is working on now, we don't have them here because they're working on it. We want them working on it. Is they are assessing all 8 of those transmission lines, identifying which small number of them they can bring up immediately, combine them with the generation within the city, and then provide that power to the distribution. So the best way to think about it would be your house. Power has to come to your house through what would be called a main. We don't have that main right now. Inside your house are all the switches. The wiring is the distribution within your house. That distribution, and you can see this throughout the city driving around, there's a lot of trees down that are connected to distribution lines. Those have to be fixed. We can get power to this city, but we may not be able to get it to your house immediately once that transmission is fixed and once that generation is available. So what Entergy is looking at now at this point is what's called an islanding response, where they're going to bring on at some point some amount of those transmission lines, some amount of that 8, get it to a generation station, one of those 2 within the city, and then spread the power available to distribution throughout the city, which requires a huge amount of work to get that online. They're going to come out later this afternoon with a statement on that as they're working through those questions now.
And I guess at this point you don't have a specific date.
We do not have a specific date, but I really want to stress this. Entergy is working on this problem right now, and they are assured us they will have more information out this afternoon. And I really want to stress there are a variety of ways to bring power into the city of New Orleans and to generate it locally combined with active transmission lines. But what I want to assure people about is just because power comes here doesn't mean it's coming to your house. That requires a ton of work to get those lines that go throughout the city from the generation, the plants, etc., to your home. That requires a lot of legwork. But again, we'll have more information on that timeline this afternoon.
David Hammer, Channel 4.
Mayor, I have a question about the issue that Ramsey was just addressing about the island of power. Okay. When Entergy got approval from the city council when you were on the council to build that NOPS station in New Orleans East, they told you that it was going to be able to black start and create power, generate power inside the island, even if these 8 transmission lines were cut off. Mm-hmm. Now they're saying they can't black start, or they're not going to black start it without getting those transmission lines back on. Do you feel that you were not given the whole story? Do you feel comfortable that they can't just start making that power right now at NOPS and distributing it?
Well, we're not going to regress. We're going to ensure that we make progress based on the existing conditions that we're in. And that means restoration of power to the city of New Orleans as a city. We know, and through our experiences, that power is not immediately activated throughout the city of New Orleans as a whole, but it will come online day by day by day. We're not even there yet to tell you what day. But in regards to your question, I can think through that, what they said back then, but I have to deal with what's before me right now. And what's before me right now is ensuring that Entergy is absolutely held accountable every step of the way, but to power restoration in the city of New Orleans. And so what pleases me, I guess, right now is having the understanding that we are unlike a Lake Charles, what they had to experience during Zeta, or in Laura, I'm sorry. So that gives me, it makes me feel a little bit more optimistic about their ability to get power to this city sooner rather than later.
But are they explaining why they can't do what they promised And are they going to be able to get power to the hospitals in the next day or so, which is one thing we're hearing?
So my focus on the hospitals is making sure that they have the necessary fuel needed for their generators to operate. So my focus is on that again, that immediate response. Is Entergy making it a priority to restore power to hospitals? Well, I know it's our top priority that has been effectively communicated to Entergy. So, but again, my focus.
Telling you they can get that in the next day?
I'm not getting any timelines from Entergy at this time. So on any matter other than the assessment work that's happening and that will continue to happen. But in regards to power restoration timelines, I have not gotten it from about the city nor hospitals, and I'm not waiting on that because the immediate need and the need to respond is to our hospitals having the adequate fuel to continue to operate. And that's in many instances across the city of New Orleans, and what I mean by that is relative to fuel. That's our top
failing on their
priority.
promise on New Orleans East?
I'm sorry?
Are they failing on their promise to the Michoud plant to be able to get it back up?
Well,
even if
right
they don't?
now we don't have power, so that's the issue. We don't have power, so until we have power, we'll have some significant progress that the people are needing and that they want. But we don't have power. You know, lines went down. So and contingency plans failed. So this is where we are, and my priority again is making sure that they do everything relative to transmission, that they do everything relevant to distribution, and the ability to generate power throughout the city of New Orleans.
Sarah Rivets, just as people are cleaning out their refrigerators and cleaning up debris, is there any plan to bring trash pickup back?
Well, of course, right? It's not just about trash pickup, it's about debris removal. And from my perspective, it's all of it. So yes, we've made significant progress on that. And I'll have Ramsey just give you an update in terms of where we are. Okay?
Thanks for the question. We're targeting, what is today, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
All right, thank you. We're targeting limited trash regular service on Thursday. We're going to have more information out about that. Limited, I don't know what that means at the moment, but what I would also say is for those folks who are out there clearing up their properties, cutting stuff, thank you for doing that. Do it safely. We had our own run-in with backup power in our building today, which has rendered us, as the mayor articulated, data weak. But Thursday, we're targeting limited. We're going to let you have more information out about that. And then debris clearing starts today. So debris is big stuff. That's the stuff that we as government take. Stuff on your property, stuff that you're cleaning up. You can put that with your household trash. Only put it on the curb, the debris on the curb. Keep your household trash on your property until you are specifically told we have a trash day coming.
Ramsey, Jessica Williams, Thompson King.
Yeah.
And the mayor can follow up as well. Are you guys encouraging Energy to make any sort of priority in terms of who comes on first, whether it be, as you mentioned, hospitals having generators, or whether it be businesses, places that people can go get something to eat? Like, are y'all talking about?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll give you an example. When we prioritize stuff with Entergy, public safety, serving our people, medical is huge. One example of Entergy helping us through this process right now is all of those cooling centers that the mayor articulated are powered by Entergy delivered generators. And they are providing that work, acknowledging, hey, we know that folks need a safe, dry, cool place to be. And that is helpful. Colin or Mayor, I don't know if you all want to add anything.
We work with Energy on a yearly basis, particularly prior to June 1st and then prior to August 1st, and review their list. And I can tell you that everything you're mentioning is at the top of that list. Medical, public health, public safety, critical infrastructure, all of those things, that doesn't change. And what we can do is if we see things that need to change on a moment's notice, we can alert them to that. But that's an existing list that we we frequently review with Entergy.
Yeah, and a great example of pivoting to areas that are priorities, a great example of that is how we had to do it during an election cycle. Remember, we had to make sure the polling stations were activated. So it's no different. Should a need arise and we need to shift and make something else a priority, we do that and we communicate that information directly to Entergy. Hi.
Hey, Mayor. So I wanted to ask you, yesterday you mentioned how people who have been evacuated the city, that now's not the time to come back.
Right.
Would you say that continues into today? Is that still the same sentiment? And also, for those who are staying in the city at nighttime, it's still very hot. We have the South Louisiana heat going on. And some of my elderly neighbors, they said they don't know if they should stay or if they should go. They're kind of concerned about their health because it's still kind of hot at night. What would you recommend?
Well, they need to call 311 and go through the triage with the operator relative to medical special needs. And so based on that response, we'll be able to respond accordingly. Colin, you have something to add?
It's one thing I wanted to mention earlier that I forgot, but it's a great point. Still stay out. What we are doing, though, is we're working with Orleans Parish Communications District. We're actually getting satellite photography of the city. It'll be available tomorrow. We're going to get it online. We will have this technological issue addressed. We're going to put it online, similar to what we've done before. That way, I'd address people that have left that are maybe have anxiety or anxious about their properties. You will be able to see within this last 24 hours your property, your roof. That's always a concern, particularly with this windstorm. And so that will be something that we will make available as well, and maybe we'll relieve people's minds a little bit while they're waiting patiently to come back when it's things are a little less austere.
And Colin answered, I didn't get to it before I brought him up, but our messaging on today, day 2, is to still stay put and shelter in place, where you are in the city as well as outside.
Mayor, last question from Brenda Murphy with Jim Lyer.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Question for FEMA representative. Resident without immigration status or undocumented people, can they apply for federal assistance?
Yeah, we encourage anyone who's been impacted by the storm to register for federal assistance using a 1-800-621-3362 or at www.disasterassistance.gov. And then we'll work through their application process. Yeah.
That financial assistance?
It's for individual assistance, yes, for households.
And clarify that, Jerry, because sometimes that just gets misconstrued about the financial assistance.
Yeah, but again, once you register, we will, an inspector will contact the head of that household. Inspection will be done at their property to determine, what they're eligible for.
Will FEMA set up mobile units to assist the resident in applying for that job?
Yeah, what you're going to see in the coming days is we'll have FEMA representatives at the cooling stations, and that will be able to answer some questions and also assist households with the registration process.
Colin, you had something to add?
Something we talked about, and I want to just there's 2 types of assistance. There's public assistance and individual assistance. It's public assistance, people sometimes think automatically that means people. I would. But public assistance is granted pretty much immediately during a disaster, and that is for government use, for emergency services, to get the ball rolling on the response and the recovery. Down the line, once we see what the impact is, both to property and to people, that is when FEMA addresses individual assistance, which is assistance in the form of financial aid and assistance for residences for people. And so both of those will be in play at some point. It's right now we're addressing the things that get the pods going, that get the cooling centers started, and those things that we do to pay help police out and firemen. And so that's where we're at right now. The individual assistance will follow.
Well, we hope it will follow.
It will.
So the request for the individual assistance, has been made. That is therefore triggered by a response at the state level. So it's not something that is automatic, although the city of New Orleans make the official request. It is at the state level and with the federal level where that determination actually happens. But be assured that we, the city of New Orleans, and me as your mayor, is requesting all assets relative to a full response to our people, both individually as well as public. I just want to make sure that that's known. But right now, there is no available, in terms of individual assistance, that is not something that's available right now. However, people should register with FEMA, because that way you'll already have your FEMA ID number, and should whatever resources be triggered and approved at the state and federal level, you'll already be in that process. You'll already have your FEMA number. They will already have your information to respond to your immediate situation or your specific situation at that time. And so that concludes the press conference. I do appreciate you all being here again. We will give you more information as we learn more, and particularly when we get our data system fully operational, again with email and with our website and the like. But NOLA Ready is still activated. Look for that. You can still text NOLA Ready to 77295. And before I end, I just want to make sure that there are no further questions. You got it? You good? Okay, thank you.
Live from WWL-TV, this is the Eyewitness News at noon.
Louisiana is now in recovery mode and resources are stretched thin. Folks are lining up across multiple blocks for fuel as they try to leave their homes or go back to them. Another line at a food and water distribution shows the demand for basic necessities. Local agencies are mobilizing to help people as fast as they possibly can. Good afternoon, I'm Jay Cunningham. We heard from the governor a short time ago after he toured some of the hardest hit areas. His message was clear: it is not time to come home yet.
If you have already evacuated, do not return here or elsewhere in southeast Louisiana until the Office of Emergency Preparedness tells you it is ready to receive you. The schools are not open, the businesses are not open, the hospitals are slammed. There's not water in your home, and there's not going to be electricity. So let's get you where you can be safe and somewhat comfortable. And if you need a hospital, we can get you to a hospital. Please don't come home before they tell you that it's time.
And here is a live look. You can see buses lining up. Tulane students are on their way to Houston. The school evacuated all students in their residence halls, as well as those who live off campus but stayed in New Orleans. Now, classes are canceled until September 13th, when they will return online only. The campus, we're told, will reopen October 11th. There will also be a food, water, and tarp distribution in Algiers today. It starts at 1 p.m., so in about 15 minutes. It will go until 5 or until supplies run out. There will also be charging stations available. It's at the Arthur Munday Center on Newton Street. Adriana De Alba is there now. And Adriana, it looks like there is possibly, or I'm assuming there could be, a very long line already. I mean, look at that.
Extremely long, and I'm not sure if you can hear me. Just kind of let me know right away, because we've had some sort of audio issues out here. But yes, the desperation is high. There is so much need, so many people lined up. I kind of want to show you around. If you look that way, that's where the distribution is starting. They're giving out things like food, water, tarps for people who have had leaks through their roofs. But I really, truly cannot give you the sense without showing you this video. Let's go ahead and cue to it, because that's a time lapse of our drive in. That was 2 hours ago. That's 2 hours before this event even started, and people were already wrapped up, I want to guess, for at least a mile. It looked like at least a mile. I'm not an expert, but the desperation is high and the need is really high, and I want to kind of show you this line headed this way. People are waiting in their cars. There are some people kind of waiting in a line, those because keep in mind not everybody has a car, and so they've formed a line of people who are coming here with their families, with their children, really eager to get some help because that need is just so high right now. And I want to talk to you because you're kind of one of the first few set of cars lined up. What time did you get here?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock for the event that starts at 1.
What happened is I went to charge my wife phone up and I heard about this on the radio, so I came over here to get something to bring back to her, you know, because she's doing a home health care.
Why is what are you up against right now?
Ooh, just to wait in the heat. Wait in the heat.
Need food and water. You don't have it at home?
I don't have it that much at home, food and water. I got 4 kids at home.
Thanks for talking to us.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can hear that's just one story, and there are so many stories out here of so many people who really are at a loss right now and don't have anything because you have grocery stores closed, those that are open. You've got empty shelves, people who are trying to feed their families, feed their children. So there's so much need here. We're going to keep walking along so you can kind of see that line. I don't know how far you can see, but it goes on and on. It curves around the road. And I can't even tell you where it ends at this point because we got here 2 hours ago and it's just changed so much. But this is at the Arthur Munday Center in Algiers. It's from 1 to 5, like we said, offering relief to families that are reeling from that storm. And Councilmember Kristen Palmer organized this event along with NOLA Ready, Second Harvest Food Bank, World Central Kitchen, Culture Aid NOLA, and like I said, distributing water, food. I also wanted to mention that they're giving people a chance to charge their phones here. So I know that's been a big issue with power outages, is people really haven't had the chance to charge their phones, and so they can come here and do that. And let me tell you, emotions are running high. This is starting at 1, and people are screaming, they're shouting, they're hot, they are desperate. There's a lot of need right now, and it's just good to see that people are ready to help. But that's just a look here in Algiers. I'm Adriana Dalba, sending it back to you.
All right, thank you so much. There is so much need for so many people. Here is a list of other free meal distribution sites and times. Today, the earliest starts at 1. The latest starts at 4. You can sign up for NOLA Ready emergency alerts by texting NOLA Ready to 77295. We are keeping track of which businesses are open in New Orleans. Text us the word open to 529-4444, and we're going to send you a link of this list. You can also find it on our website, wwltv.com. If you see somewhere that's open, you can help us out and post to Twitter by using the hashtag OpenNOLA so we can add it to this possibly growing list. New at noon, CLECO has released an update on its power restoration progress. Crews are out in St. Tammany Parish working to get power on at the Lakeview and St. Tammany hospitals. Power was restored yesterday to 90% of Slidell Memorial Hospital. Crews are working to completely restore power there by the end of the day, and we are going to have more updates on that on our website. This is a line for gas in Covington this morning, with people trying to get out of town, possibly some trying to get back into town to see their homes. The supply of gas is becoming a major concern, and our Asha Staples is checking out gas stations around town for us. Asha, so many people. What exactly are you seeing where you are?
Well, I just want to say, I want to echo Adriana. The desperation is definitely high for folks that are needing gas, whether they're going to stay here and use it for their generators or if they try to leave town. Here at the Chevron off of Rampart in St. Louis, they just put these barricades out, turning people away. And over the intercom with the police station, they're telling folks that this Chevron is now out of gas. Now, we've seen this line actually longer than half of a mile. People using this time to spending hours in these lines to try to get gas just to be turned away. So again, that desperation is there, that frustration is there, and emotions are just definitely high. I've been out actually since 5 o'clock this morning, going to gas stations, talking to people, and seeing how long they've been waiting for gas just to be turned around, or even the joy that they have to be able to fill up their canisters to return home with their gas or their vehicles. But again, many gas stations are selling out of either diesel, regular, or both. And this is what one gentleman had to say at a gas station when he finally made it to his way to the pump.
The chaos at the station. I mean, the fact that there's gas available, but the confrontations you have to deal with.
Yeah.
The conflict. So I think that they need to have armed security at all the stations.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot smoother transition. But right now, your patience will be tested.
Definitely will be tested. Again, we're here off of St. Louis, and so they just closed out this gas station saying that they're out. The big question is, when are they going to get more fuel? We do not know that answer, but things have been pretty smooth with the police department helping out, facilitate, and actually show people where to go once they make it here. So if people may wait it out and wait to see if they're going to get gas sooner than later, they may do that, but they're also trying to make sure the traffic on this street is clear very soon. So hopefully, again, we'll hoping that you guys use that open NOLA to let us know what stations are open, what stores are open near our area, so that we can help these folks get some relief. And of course, again, just try to use that hashtag and that phone number. Reporting live in New Orleans, Asha Staples, Eyewitness News.
Thank you so much, Asha. We will have an evacuation help desk starting this afternoon. If you have any specific questions regarding assistance, evacuations, or anything else, you can text them to us at 504-529-4444. We put that number on your screen there. Then tune into our WWL TV Facebook Live. It starts at 1 o'clock, so in about 8 minutes, and we are going to answer as many questions as we possibly can. Again, text your questions to 529-4444. We want to make it easier for you to find information for your area, so take a look at the screen and find the number next to your parish. So you're going to text that number to 504-529-4444, where you can get specific information like road conditions, power status, school closing, so much more. This is a great resource. So if you're in New Orleans, you can text the number 1 to, again, that number, 504-529-44. If you're in Jefferson Parish, you would text the number 2, and you would go on from there. It is 12:53. We want to send things now over to Alexandra, it is such a hot day today. Temperatures in the high 80s. I mean, so many people are out and about.
Yeah, I know, it's true. And a lot of people may be watching from elsewhere and saying, oh, it's really hot and humid right now and no power. So we're just kind of hit on all these different things that you might be wondering about the New Orleans area. So yes, super hot and sticky today and tomorrow. That's not going to change until we get some lower humidity later this week and into the weekend. And then thankfully right now, at least our North Shore rivers are mostly falling. So we'll touch on all of this and then take a look at the tropics right at the end of my forecast, because it is late August, almost September. We're almost at the peak of the season, and we do have a little bit of activity, but nothing coming for us. I just want to calm your fears if you're thinking about that. Looking quickly at our rivers, most of them are actually either cresting right now or falling. The Pearl is still kind of steadily rising. Not really sure when it will start to fall, but it does look like through the late week time, at least minor flooding will be going on. The other one is the Boca Chica, which is falling upriver. Might take a little while, either today or tonight, or maybe early tomorrow downriver to be falling, but note that that's minor flooding. And then the Boca Falaya, Trafuncta, and Tangipahoa are really falling much more quickly. And of course, we're hot and humid in New Orleans. Our high temperatures right now in the upper 80s and could touch 90 or lower 90s later in the day. And I think we need to wrap up our forecast here and get back to something quickly.
All right, thanks so much, Alexandra. Yeah, we are going to be speaking here with FEMA, hoping to get some important information to you guys. Hurricane Ida carved a path of destruction across southeastern Louisiana, and of course, FEMA is now accepting applications for disaster assistance. So we are joined by John Mills. He is the External Affairs Officer for the FEMA Incident Management Assistance Team. We are so thankful that you are joining us this afternoon. Tell us a little bit about what people need to know at this point.
So we know a lot of people have been impacted, and we're obviously closely monitoring the power situation and what the power company is working on there to restore power, and any updates regarding the timelines that we can get. In the meantime, if you have significant damage to your primary residence from Hurricane Ida, you may be able to get assistance from FEMA in the form of grants that you would not have to repay. That's known as individual assistance for your losses that are not covered by insurance. A lot of people fortunately have insurance coverage for hurricane wind damage, and also flood insurance coverage that they buy from an insurance company that's backed by FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. So be sure to submit your insurance claims. If you have needs not covered by insurance, or you don't have insurance at all, and your home is uninhabitable as a result of Hurricane Ida, you can speak with FEMA directly and apply for federal disaster assistance. The phone number is 800-621-3362. That's 800-621-3362. You can also apply online at our website, disasterassistance.gov. That's disasterassistance.gov. And that's right. Take photos of the damage, keep all of your receipts. We may also be able to help reimburse you for a few days of lodging if you've had to relocate. FEMA individual assistance can help homeowners make basic home repairs to restore their home to a habitable condition to help you on the road to recovery. FEMA individual assistance also can provide temporary rental assistance if you need to relocate temporarily because your home is uninhabitable. And FEMA individual assistance also can provide for other needs of survivors, such as replacing essential personal property that's been damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Ida. So the big question you want to ask yourself prior to applying for federal disaster assistance is your home uninhabitable as a result of Hurricane Ida? The next question is, have I filed my insurance claims? The next question is, if I've already filed those claims, do I have needs that are not going to be covered by insurance? And if that answer is yes, you may need FEMA individual assistance grant money as part of your recovery process. Happy to answer any questions about that.
Do we have any idea on how many people have so far filed for assistance?
I don't have an exact number as of this moment, but I can tell you the good news is thousands of people have already contacted FEMA directly by phone and online. So despite the power outages, we've received, I'm told, thousands of registrations through the web and through mobile devices at disasterassistance.gov. Of course, a lot of people want to speak with a real person, so we're also receiving a lot of people contacting us, telling us about their needs at 800-621-3362. It's also important to remember this, everybody has gone through Hurricane Ida together. We were here in Louisiana before, during, and now after the storm, but everyone's exact situation is unique. So we're going to be working with every household on a case-by-case basis and working with them based on what their specific needs are related to Hurricane Ida. The top priority is focusing on people whose homes have been made uninhabitable as a direct result of Ida and have needs that have not been met by other organizations. It's also important to remember this. By law, FEMA individual assistance is not allowed to duplicate insurance payments. So that's why it's important for you to file your insurance claims, because FEMA will ask you if you have insurance, and FEMA by law is not allowed to provide you money that's being provided by your insurance or by another organization. And there are a lot of organizations doing amazing work. So it may reduce the need for FEMA individual assistance among a lot of people who've been affected, because obviously we've seen neighbors helping neighbors, volunteers doing amazing work, the whole community responding.
We are out of time, but I just want to get that phone number and website again for people. What is that?
Sure. The phone number, if you want to talk to FEMA directly, is 800-621-3362, 800-621-3362, or online at disasterassistance.gov for losses not covered by insurance.
All right, Mr. Mills, thank you so much for joining us with that information. We appreciate it. And that is our new newscast for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tonight.